What is going on YouTube? It is you who are watching the tube on YouTube with Scrub the Tarnished. And welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for being here. This is a Dexterity Arcane build. It is at level 90. We're rocking with 40 Dexterity, 30 Arcane, and then the minimal amount of strength needed to wield the Morgoth's Curved Greatsword. And so, my thoughts about this build. I don't think level 90 is an appropriate level range to take a Dexterity Arcane build into, because Morgoth's Curved Greatsword requires a lot of stats. I think it's 35 Dexterity and 17 Arcane, so kind of a lot. And yes, I do have Millicent's prosthesis to give me that extra +5 dex, so I'm rocking with that 40 dex. So I could have gone the minimal amount of dexterity and then poured more into arcane, because with 30 arcane I get like on average like 77 bleed buildup on bleed infused weapons. The bleed buildup on like the blood flame weapons, like Rivers of Blood, the Eleanor's pole blade. It's very I don't know what word to describe it. It's not the best. It's not the best. So I felt like this build would have benefited better in meta level. That way you're able to still get good dexterity scaling and get good physical damage, while also having enough arcane points to pour into the bleed buildup that you get as well when you bleed infuse these weapons. But I mean, hey, I'm just trying to stay out of meta level for as much as I can, so I probably will be going back into meta level pretty soon, because I want to like I said, just overall this build does not fit well level 90, but we still make it work. You work with what you have, and that's okay. I accidentally deleted the save slot on this build, so I'm not going to bring it back. No reason for me to anyways. So yeah, so like I said, I have +5 dexterity coming from Millicent's prosthesis, and then I got the Mimic Tier mask as well for that +8 arcane with a very minuscule physical damage penalty. I think it's by like 9 points or whatever, so I don't think that's too big of a punishment. I was originally wearing the Mask of Confidence, which gives you a +3 arcane, but honestly, having that +5 arcane, or in addition to +3, you only get like an extra 5 or 10 bleed buildup on your blood infused weapons, so it's not that much, but at level range like this, it really does make a difference. So I honestly should have let the Twin Blade shine more in this build, because yes, I love Morgoth's Curved Greatsword. It's a weapon you have to be extremely aggressive with, and I love the aggressive playstyle, but I'm also trying to be more calculative with when I need to be aggressive versus when I need to be more passive. And so there's not really, I don't know, like bleed builds call for aggression, but it's hard to be aggressive when you have high latency and people just love to be super passive. So maybe I just need to get good and not let the Banished Knight steal 2 of my kills. I'm very grateful for this Banished Knight, because he saved my butt in many circumstances in this fight against this gank, but at the same time, he should have at least saved some food for me. Like, he 3 for 3, man. 3 for 3. He took all 3 of my kills. But I'm also, yeah, I also would have got my butt kicked if it was not for that Banished Knight. So, yeah. Bleed builds, however, I think I'm going to make a... I still haven't done my DLC build yet. It's just going to be an honest, like, casual scrub PvE-er build. I'll probably have the Taunter's Tongue on while I do play DLC. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not quite sure yet. But if I do, then I'll probably stream it. So for those who are on PC, you guys can invade me while I'm playing the DLC, but it's going to be just a pure arcane build with like the minimum dexterity and strength requirements to wield the weapons I want to build. But if I'm probably going to go into DLC at level 150. I don't plan on leveling up even more. Besides, I heard that the level progression system in DLC is going to be different compared to what we experienced in base game. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. So I don't think it's something I want to, you know, tinker with, especially if I'm going to use the build for invasions once I'm done completing the DLC. But the thing is, like, I don't know what to expect when it comes to all the items that I will get in the DLC. I know we have 8 new weapon types. I know we'll have plenty of different armor sets, but at the same time, like, is there going to be more talismans? Is there going to be like more equipment items, like consumables and all that? Like, I do not know what is forecasted besides what we already know. Maybe that has been listed in interviews with Michael Zaki. Maybe, I know there's going to be giant fire bombs. I know that I'm like stoked for. I don't know why they would add such a thing. And then they added like Gale's crossbow, or Slave Knight Gale's crossbow on crack. So I'm excited for the cracked out page cosplays that are gonna happen. Maybe I'll do a page cosplay. That sounds like fun. So yeah, I just don't know what to expect in regards to what is gonna come out of the DLC for invasion equipment, I suppose. Because, you know, to be an invader, you gotta have quite a big checklist when it comes to being an invader. So I don't know if that checklist is gonna grow even larger, but we shall see, my friends. We shall see. What build? Let me know. I'm curious to know what builds that you guys will be using going into the DLC. I know some YouTubers is gonna use like just like a pure intelligence build, focus on the Moonlight Greatsword, and I just made a build, or I'm working on a build right now, that's just pure Moonlight Greatsword, pure Moonveil, and just moon sorceries, and his name is Lunatic Scrub because he's a lunatic. So I'm excited to just bully people with those weapons in meta level. So going back to what I said about Morgoth's Curved Greatsword, it is a very fun weapon to use, especially if you can adapt to a very aggressive playstyle. Like, you just saw me delete that host in mere seconds, and I know I didn't really give the host an opportunity to, like, get himself ready, but at the same time, you gotta be ready for anything. You can never expect the unexpected, but you can try your best to. But yeah, no, it's a really fun weapon to use. I love the L2 on it. The problem is, with an aggressive playstyle, you kind of need a lot of FP, or like a fair amount of FP, and then a good amount of endurance. So I'm only rocking with 11 FP and 15 endurance. And I've argued before that on Reddit, saying like any amount of endurance is okay as long as you know how to manage it well. But with this build, I think it's rather wise to have an ample amount of endurance. So I run out of endurance a lot playing with this build, and I run out of FP a lot, and especially at the worst times as well. Like if I'm getting ganked and I don't have FP to use Stormcaller on the halberds that I have as like my get off me button, then I'm kind of screwed, man. So that's why I say that like Dexterity Arcane builds kind of require a lot of stats, and would probably perform and be more optimal in meta levels. So lesson learned. It was definitely fun trying this in level 90. So yeah, but anyways, we're back with Magic Spammy. We saw them in the last edition of Elden Ring Invasions with my Sleepy Scrub build. They were like level 40, and now they've caught up to level 90. So I wonder if they recognized me, because I put my name, or like I put Scrub after like or in every invasion name. Like this guy's name is Bloody Scrub, and I know I already did a Bloody Scrub, but that was like a Strength Arcane Bloody Scrub. I love Strength Arcane builds, and I think they perform better compared to Dex Arcane builds. But at the same time, like, bleed builds are just so fun. I don't know. I love the Arcane stat and what you could do with Arcane. Especially with, like, Arcane magic in here as well. I want to do a Bubble Blower build. So do, like, an Int Arcane build. How am I going to make that work? I have absolutely no clue. But I will figure that out. So, yeah. Morgoth's Curved Sword. Super aggressive. It's the longest boy in the Curved Sword. The longest boy in the Curved Greatsword classification. Classification? I don't know. But, no, super fun to use, and I'll say it again as many times as I need to. Because that L2, man. The thing is, like, going back to what I was saying about being mindful of how much you L2, you can only use the full Ash of War twice with only 11 stamina. So, one thing I learned is that I was not mindful of that, so I tried L2ing my way through the world, but you know, that was very short-lived because see, now I'm like already almost out of stamina, but oh well. So here we have a host who maybe doesn't upgrade their what is that? The Rune's Greatsword. That has an unupgraded Rune's Greatsword and then an overleveled Phantom. I invaded them again, and that's why I showed those little short clips of them getting backstabbed, because it was a very stupid overleveled Phantom. And they kept on getting backstabbed and roll caught by me, so I thought I'd include that in there just to show that, in case some people love to bully overleveled Phantoms, which I think is necessary, because they need to get humbled. Like, you're sure there's like downscaling, and I know the downscaling isn't necessarily like super balanced. I could be wrong. I'm pulling that out of my butt, but at the same time, like, if the opportunity comes to compare skill, then yes, I would love to bully overleveled Phantoms. Your numbers do not mean anything to me. It's all about skill. So I also have the forked Greatsword on this build with Poisonous Mist as well. I didn't really use it a lot. I should have, because applying poison is good pressure, and then you can switch to another weapon that will work as a roll catch weapon. But I didn't really do that as well. So I'm trying to work on, you know, organizing my inventory better, especially when it comes to weapons, and then hard swapping to weapons easily for certain situations. For example, like, I finally got some Horaloo content again. For those who know, Horaloo is one of my favorite Ashes of War, because you could just scream in someone's face and then just slam the ground and cause big damage numbers. So that was your Horaloo content for this video. But definitely do need to work on the organization of how I assort my weapon inventory, because I'm not like a pro hard swapper anything. Like, no, I'm not gonna switch my armor set to put on like that one or those two armor pieces, like that mask and that chest piece that boosts your Estus replenishment. Like, I can't do that while running away from people at the same time. Like, sure, I can navigate through the inventory or like through the menu pretty quickly, but I can't do it while I'm like running from players at the same time. I don't know if it's because the players who can do that like play claw. I should have learned how to play claw, to be honest, especially like back in like the quick scoping days of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and I'm talking about the original one in like 2010, the quick scoping and trick shot days. I never was a trick shotter, but I definitely was a quick scoper. That was fun. Man, I saw this Instagram post, and it had the caption of like when life was simple, and then it had like all the four like not legendary, but like the four ammo camos. I mean, not ammo, sorry, the gun camos or whatever that you get by completing challenges. And doing that was so simple compared to what's going on with like challenges to cosmetic challenges in today's Call of Duty editions. Like I don't know, it Call of Duty just seems so weird nowadays. Like it seems so mindless and it's just same stuff, different game. So it's weird coming from a FPS. I was an FPS nerd, and then now all of a sudden I get introduced to Elden Ring, and now all video games have been ruined for me by Elden Ring. So thank you, Elden Ring. Forgot where I was going with that though, so I just had to reminisce for a second. But yeah, this is the last invasion of the video, and the advice that I need to give for this invasion is you got to get your hands dirty sometimes. You need to get Scarlet Rotted, and you just need to take it, not worry about trying to search for your Scarlet Rot boluses. You kind of just got to take it. You got to get your hands dirty, and you just got to continue to aggress certain players, especially Rotten Bob right here, who wants to apply three different status effects on me. Luckily, the dragon already did the job of applying Scarlet Rot on me, so all I gotta do is just worry about the bleed and the poison, I guess. But I mean, that shield is so easily telegraphed. I don't think I've ever poisoned anybody with it, let alone I don't even think I've ever tried it, so I don't know on my behalf. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta get your hands dirty, and you just gotta be a little unclean while fighting off other people. So luckily we were able to get off the most aggressive player, and the dragon took care of the other dude as well. So now it's just me and Jebus Crest, and I backstabbed Jebus Crest, and he gave up. But if you were to impersonate Jesus Christ, Jesus never gave up. He died and rose 3 days later. Like that is resilience right there, man. So I mean, I'm sad that he had to give up. At the same time, he got to go out in a cool way. So don't give up. You are capable of finishing the fight strong. Even if you don't win, even if you lose, you still tried to the very end. And hey, you made it to the end of the video, and so I commend you for paying attention for this long. And I hope you have fun doing whatever you're going to do after you're done watching this video. So be good to yourselves, and I love you. Goodbye.